Hi everyone, this is Richard Lenz with RealAcoustix, sitting with my good friend Sam Berkow of SIA Acoustics, and we're here to talk about
This video is about Staggering FlutterX.
Staggering FlutterX. Now this is something I'll do a little bit of an introduction about. First time I ever saw Staggering FlutterX was with my friend Sam Berkow in the job we did in Hollywood, in LA with
Oh, the old Glen sound.
Old Glen
Yes.
Sound, which I thought was really cool. Glen Sound has been around for probably 60, 70 years.
Glen Sound facility was taken over by Chase Deluxe.
Yeah.
And we were brought in to upgrade the sound of some rooms. And they had a large stage that they wanted to turn into an ADR room.
Right.
And one of the issues was the sidewalls were quite hard. And instead of just deadening them out to make people feel a little bit more comfortable, I had staggered FlutterX. So let's talk about FlutterX first. FlutterX is a one-dimensional strip product. It comes in 5.5-inch widths,
Right.
and it's a Prime 13 diffuser.
13.
You want to explain what that is?
So prime numbers have to do with quadratic residue diffusers. The higher the prime number, the more wells, the more different depths of wells that you have, and it gives you better definition in a quadratic, to keep it simple. FlutterX was originally designed for sidewalls to get rid of what we call flutter echoes, and that you hear sometimes in all kinds of rooms.
Yeah.
It's churches and various other places. So
Associated with parallel walls.
right, it's associated with parallel walls. It typically is something that happens when you have hard parallel walls, and it gets rid of that. However, Sam uses it to great effect by staggering it.
In plan. By staggering, what we do is we put a runner horizontally on the wall so we can put some absorption behind the FlutterX.
Right.
Typically some mid-density fiberglass, 4-pound, 3-pound, 5-pound, depends on what we're trying to do. We'll put a couple of inches, and then we'll have panels that stagger out by 1-inch thickness. The panels are 5.5 by 1,
Right.
and I think you sell them in 8-foot strips or whatever size they
8,
are.
10, 112,
Yeah.
something.
So we stagger them so that we call the first one 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1, and then 0, and 1 and 2. Sometimes it's we do it one way and then the other way, and there's lots of examples. And what happened on a project was the installer called me, the contractor installer who was installing the staggered FlutterX, said it didn't break up the flutter. And I'm like, it's Saturday morning, I was with my son, and I said, Kate, you mind if we stop and take a look at this? And he rolled his eyes and said, sure. Thanks for your patience, buddy. And we stopped over there, and of course, they hadn't installed the stagger. They just did it flat. And what's interesting is that this FlutterX was quite strong with it flat. But as soon as we made that little 3-inch stagger, the flutter echoes went away.
Right.
And what's the frequency range of a standard flutter?
I mean, typically it's going to start at about 2K,
Right.
1500 to 2K, because it's only 1 inch thick.
Right. Well, by making the diffuser stagger over 3 inches, we extend that down quite a bit.
Right.
And it really works. It's been a great go-to for us. I've probably done it in 30, 40 studios. I mean, we have them in a lot of studios. We've done them in live rooms as well. People like the sound of drums off of those staggered diffusers. These are, again, 1D diffusers, and we use it as a combination of mid-frequency absorption and high-frequency diffusion.
Right.
Really works really well, and that's how we start these conversations that have been going on for the last more years than either one of us would like to admit.
But yeah, it's been a wonderful example of how to use an existing product in another way to create a different thing.
I've always thought that you guys should sell the FlutterX in staggered strips.
We do now.
I know. It took a decade or two. It's a good product, and this is a really nice technique that almost anyone can build. For you guys who are do-it-yourselfers, this is an easy one. The hardest thing is finding a nail gun that fits in the wells.
Yeah.
You got to get a nail gun that has has the nose that fits in the well, so you can get it in there and hang the thing with essentially finishing nails that don't impact the look. You don't see the way they're attached. But it's been really effective, and I really like this technique. And it's now old school, but still very effective and has a nice look. And if you don't like the look, cover it with an acoustical fabric, which is what we did on the ceiling above us.
Right. And it works just as well.
Okay, so that's Staggering FlutterX. Oh, before we go, do you make a lower prime number FlutterX? Is there a FlutterX 11? I thought I read about that.
Originally I did.
Right.
But the 13 was, everybody kind of just
Works better.
Yeah, works better, and everybody adopted the 13. We are now making a new one called Flutter Max.
Wow.
It's 2 inches thick.
Sure you don't want to call it FlutterX S2? What is going to be different about Flutter Max?
Well, aside from obviously a lower frequency range that it works in, it's going to be monolithic, so it allows us to put it on walls and still get rid of flutter echoes, but actually have more diffusive performance at a lower frequency.
Yeah, and
Much like the good panel.
it's still an inch, or is it now 2 inches?
It's 2 inches thick.
It's 2 inches thick. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
How come I don't know about this?
Because we haven't introduced it yet.
Oh.
It's the first time we've talked about it. So it's
Sam, meet Fluttermax. Fluttermax, meet Sam. You heard it here first. Fluttermax for Real Acoustics. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.